leave it there.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are back in session. This is a discussion with Road and Bridge and Public Works and with the landfill to see what direction we need to go or want to go with those departments. Everybody's kind of had a little time to think about things, so we're just going to start right here and go across. And thoughts from when we met last? Directions?
I'm still kind of where I was. If the intention's to free up more time and make Road and Bridge and our other departments more, or us more involved in them, and being able to clean up our processes, and yeah, but I still don't see the super clear reason other than that. But if that is the intention, then yeah, I'd be in support of it. So.
Okay, Kyle?
You summed it up for me. I pretty much, whatever the commission wants to go, we're in full support of it and ready to move on.
Dylan?
Yeah, and I think to address one of John's concerns before, I went back and really dove into the project side of things, engineer side of things, and got as much information as I possibly could from each one of the groups of people that I worked with. And I really think that we're already capitalizing on doing a lot of the special project, a lot of the engineering things already. So I think that hopefully that would alleviate some of your concerns as well. Otherwise, I would agree with these guys. I think get us all freed up to focus on our individual tasks and just do the best job that we can.
Well, I would agree with what's been said. I'm pretty much on the same page as these guys. So.
Okay. Christy, any concerns?
Depending on the timing of when you do it, next year will cost $72,000 roughly in siren benefits that will move to Road and Bridge from landfill. If you choose to make that decision now and effective now, then we would need just under $25,000 to move those salaries this year. And that's if we made it effective June 3rd.
Okay. Jason?
You know, it could be handled either way, really. I think that the current model is fine. I think we had ruffled feathers on both sides, and we're all adults and we can work it out, and it actually saves us a little bit in money to do it the way it's structured now. And so I don't see why we can't just and move forward, and because that's a tax savings for us, the way it's structured now. But it's ultimately up to you as the commission, as your departments, and I would support you in whichever way. I think it's a savings this way, but whichever. I think things have been said that I've heard on kind of both sides that have hurt some feelings and ruffled feathers, and I think we just need to get beyond that and be big kids and just deal with it and do our jobs and move on. I think we can all do that. That's not a big deal. But we have to realize that sometimes people say stupid things, and we're all human, and just move on from it. And
John?
I agree with what Jason said.
Jim?
I stand where I was at last week. I think we've got some talented young people, and I'd like to see them fly, so I'm willing to make the move, and if it doesn't work, okay, we can fix it.
Well, I've thought a lot about it. I've talked with Christy. Her and I met on Friday and talked for a little bit about it and stuff. I don't think, and I said it the other day, I don't think we're being honest where we spend our monies. 50% and 25%. I just don't think that we're totally, well, yes, I can see that.
The only address to that is Road and Bridge does, some of their staff does a little bit more than, I mean, maybe it's $72,000 total. We just take a percentage of 2 people versus more. So if Bobette does any shuffling of work, if anybody else does any shuffling of work, that's counted into this. We don't do 5% here, 10%. We try to keep it to larger numbers, which we should reassess every year. And so if there is a change, it should be addressed. It bounces back and forth and has since I've been with the county on the percentage that we do.
Well,
So while the percentage of maybe what Kyle's doing isn't 50% here, it picks up the slack of other items. So I just want to have that clear so that there's no misconception that we're not being as steward of the dollars as.
And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody,
Right.
but I'm just saying that as we had our discussion the other day, 50% is what was said here and 25% here, and then we ask them, well, okay, now next year, what are you looking at? 25 and 15 was the conversation. So it was looking at shuffling dollars anyway on that end of it. Kyle, go ahead.
And it's kind of hard because we still don't have any real great measure to like take weed and mosquito too. I mean, we do all their bills, all their grant, all their, to me, is admin. I mean, we have people hired there as supervisors, like as in working supervisors. They don't do a lot of that other stuff, so we're taking a lot of that work and we don't necessarily get into that. I don't know what the best solution for that is.
You
but-
could say the same thing with any admin office. So the treasurer's office, the commission office, the auditing office, legal, everybody does a little bit of work with everybody and we don't necessarily charge it.
Yeah.
So that's.
Because if they do, can I add a little to my legal bill so I can get more legal? But yeah, it's kind of hard that way. I mean, it's just like with, say, fleet, it's kind of a weird thing too. We do some working together because they have a lot of large, but like we've never really said anything with like sheriff's got a lot of cars. And then you have one department that only has a couple. I know it's kind of all coming out of, I guess, the same pot, but it's kind of weird how we only charge for parts. We don't charge for any labor. So some people are getting a lot of work done for them, and then some people aren't. And the only ones that we've ever charged a little bit to help with the shop situation was landfill. So
Because
there's
it's an enterprise fund. Those are the differences. Enterprise funds have to be charged appropriately for percentages like that, but regular governmental funds don't.
So then we should do something a little different than with event center probably at some point in time.
It's not an enterprise fund.
It's not an enterprise?
No, it's not. It's a special revenue fund.
D6.
D6
It's an
is
enterprise.
this year.
But I've looked at it and evaluated a lot of this, and there's, this is the way it's always been, is you know, it keeps popping in my mind, but it doesn't mean it's always right either. And sometimes we need to make some adjustments. I mean, you guys are not the same. I mean, the things that we've thrown at you this year and the fleet management, I think that is an area that it's going to be big. Honestly, I think that to get these cars under control, and you know, and you guys have said it, we got cars that are what, 40 years old that have been sitting out there and stuff, and I think that that's a big responsibility. Plus all the subdivisions and the roads and.
You're gonna have striped roads now.
So honestly, I wouldn't mind separating them for a while. If it doesn't work, I know who to blame. Plain and simple. And accountability and responsibility. And it doesn't mean that if it isn't working right and stuff, we can all be big boys and say, girls, and say, let's go back the other way a little bit. But I wouldn't mind trying this and moving forward. I think that the landfill, with the accountability and the responsibility of remediation, has made that a bigger project. But it doesn't mean that we alleviate everybody that with all the skills and talents and knowledge, in my opinion. And I don't want anybody to think that this is a disciplinary thing or anything of that nature. This is just, how do we make Bannock County more effective and more efficient? And if this is one way, I mean, to me, we need to look at it. So.
Do you want to move the salaries now? Do you want to make it effective now or October 1?
Have you identified any funds? I mean,
I think we could potentially cover it through a budget, existing dollars. They have some retirement money, they didn't use all of it.
Well, and you
You're talking
haven't,
about the 24K.
Yeah. 24/6.
haven't filled some positions and different things. But I think that as we're going in and starting to talk about budget, right now is the time to do it. I mean, to get everybody going the same direction.
So you want me to redo our approval forms and then bring you, we won't need to do a reallocation for current year, because if we use existing dollars, then the only thing we'll need to do is the SAR approval forms for these two, moving them back 100% into Road and Bridge. Is that the wish?
That's where I'd like to go.
Effective when?
When's work for you, next pay period, or?
If we could push the SAR approval form through, I could get it, if you want to approve the chairman signing the front, I can get them done when I get back downstairs, and then we can get them processed, signed on Thursday, effective June 3rd.
If that works for you, I'm good with that.
That's fine.
Consensus?
Well, I'm not good with it, but it's 2-1, so you do whatever these guys direct.
And like I say, we've talked about this a long time, and I think it's time to move forward and see what happens. And like I say,
How long has it been structured like this?
For at least 25 years. Probably longer.
and like I say, that's what I thought a lot about after our discussion the other day and stuff. But I just know that we keep throwing more and more on these guys' plate. We're not increasing their manpower. I mean, this year they took care of snow grooming. I don't know about you guys, but I think I got one call
I didn't get any.
all year. And that is amazing. From where we were, the vehicles weren't broke down like they were the year before. I mean, it was every other week I was getting a call saying the trucks broke down or the groomers broke down or this. So they're doing amazing work. And then, like I say, this fleet management, I expect that to follow the same pattern as the grooming. That we get control of how many vehicles we have out there, and so we just keep throwing more and more on this plate, and I think that this is an avenue to see what happens. Because, like I say, just with the environmental and everything else at the landfill, that is getting bigger and bigger too. So that's where I'm at. So I'd ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we go ahead and separate the landfill from Road and Bridge effective June 3rd, and authorize chairman's signature on salary rate approval forms today.
So we have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No,
All right. But please, continue to communicate with us. If things aren't going the way that we think they need to be, and people are still gonna have your number, Kyle. And if things are coming up that we need to be aware of, please let us know.
Well, I talked with Dylan a little bit this morning on some of the stuff, whether it's shop or whatever, is we're all a team here, and if we can try to work together and not always kind of jab at different departments, we'll be better off, because there's a lot of things, like I say, with the shop, we got to get a handle on people understanding they might have to schedule something a little bit, because sometimes you expect unrealistic goals out of places, and so I think if we all work together and kind of understand that we're trying and working together, that things will go a lot better for the county.
So I've just read through everybody's evaluations, all of them that you guys have been in, and I'll just say weed. They're doing a lot more work now. I've been hit with Dyer's Woad every day. I mean, I fielded a couple of calls, and so I've been hit with that. And so you guys have all operated with the minimum number of people, and we're that way throughout the county.
Yeah.
But our county's growing. We can't keep doing everything that we did 20 years ago. We can't keep going after what Dan Copeland did. We can't, and that's what was on that evaluation form. And so we got to think of outside the box once in a while and move forward, in my opinion. Okay? All right. That being said, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.